Podcast, and today I want to speak to you guys about emotions and how to take action over them. First and foremost, you need to understand what emotions are, and for me, I've always been like a very emotional person. Whenever I was happy, I'll act upon happiness. Whenever I was sad, I'll act upon sadness. When I was upset, I'll act upon being upset. That's how you're taught not to actually make decisions when you're feeling very emotional. Like, this reminds me back to the time when I used to be very hungry, and I'd be upset, frustrated. I'll go into a takeout and I order so much food, and when I received food and I started eating, and then my emotions went back to neutral, I was like, why did I buy so much food? Like, that was so stupid of me. The same thing when you're super content, you're happy, you go out drinking. This is when I used to go out drinking. I used to go out drinking, and then you end up buying drinks for everyone because you're in such a good mood. And then like you come home, you check your bank balance, and you're like, why did I do that? Because you acted upon your emotions. And most of the time when you act upon your emotions, you regret it, because that was never what you intended to do. So I want you to understand that emotions are energies, emotions, they're moments. At the same time when you bought all those drinks when you're on a night out, and then you regret the same way that you were hungry and you bought all that food to satiate the hunger, and then when you both of them, happiness, sadness, once you've done it, you regret it. That's why the goal is always regret is your guideline and live by the call of your conscience. So once you understand that emotions are energies and being their moments, but actions are forever, then you start to think twice about everything that you do. But you don't have to think twice once you have your purpose, once you know what you want. Because when you know what you want is when you're at a neutral state of thinking. So it's like a blueprint, like a GPS. You can be driving the car, you have the GPS, it can be sunny, you see the road, that's when your emotions are neutral, then it starts to rain, thunder, dark. You already know where you want to go, you just have to follow the GPS. You know when you're driving, and sometimes, I don't know if you drive or if you've been on the road, but sometimes it rains so much, there's so much fog, and you don't know where to go. But because you have the GPS, you already see the road, you know it's straightforward, so you just keep on following the road. You keep on following the road. That's the same thing with your goals. Once you have that goal, you focus on that goal, and no matter how you feel, you remember the goal, the goal, the goal. But the question is, what is a goal? Most of the time, you don't have a goal. That's why you never actually end up going anywhere. You end up putting so much energy and you start running in circles. The thing that you guys need to realize is that, ask yourself, your purpose will always be you. You need yourself to do everything that you want. So most of the time is you guys focus on what do I need to do, but the question you need to ask yourself, what don't I need to do? There's so many things that you don't need to do. There's so many things that you don't need to do before you actually start doing things that you have to do. Like, have I got any bad habits, any bad addictions? You have to overcome that before you can start progressing. I want you guys to imagine like video games. I used to play a lot of video games. I wasn't the best at video games. But there was times where you have to fight a boss. And until you fight that boss, you can never go to the next level. That addiction, that bad problem that you have is your boss. Until you overcome it, you will never be able to progress. Because the second you start to go forward, you relapse back at where your problem lies. So most of the time it's either cigarette, it can be women, it can be drinking, it can be the overindulgence of sex. Most of the time is that one issue that you know that you have, but you try to cover with other areas, but what happens? You relapse back. It drags you back to that same position. That's when you start acting upon emotions, that's when you start getting frustrated, upset. So your purpose, your goal should be, what don't I need to do? So you need to stop drinking, you need to stop smoking. So that's your number one goal. But then you say to yourself, but I have so many other areas that I need to improve. And because you start finally fixing this area, then you say, oh, let me try to fix that area, that area, that area. Then you try to fix so many things that again, you fall into your emotions and you end up staying on and you end up at the boss again. So what you have to do is, you need to focus on what's that main area. So smoking, that addiction. Understand that because you smoke and you drink, you think you have a commitment issue, that you can't commit to the gym, you can't commit to, you are the most committed person. You're just putting that energy into a negative. Once you exchange it into a positive, then that's when you start seeing results. So that should be your number one focus. Now that you know what you want to do, get rid of this addiction. Every single day your intention should be, how do I overcome this? That's why you need a replacement, an exchange. So for me, when I was smoking, when I was drinking, one of the hardest things for me was, I would always say tomorrow, but tomorrow is today. That's why you need to focus on having a daily process within the 24 hours that's going to help you have that willpower to overcome and take action on it. But how do you take action? Self-confidence is the highest area we want to reach. That's why we work and try to improve every area so we can have follow-through. Self-confidence is follow-through. Self-confidence is in belief in yourself. But if you don't do anything in a day, that you have nothing to fall back on and say, actually, I can do something, because you want to wake up early, I can't. I want to stop smoking, I can't. So everything that you want to do, you don't do. So whenever you want to try to stop smoking, or whenever you want to try to start going to the gym, you don't believe you can do it because you don't believe anything that you say because you haven't done anything that you said. Something very simple. So how can you expect to overcome this problem if you can't even follow simple things that you say you want to do? So the thing, how do you gain confidence? That's the ultimate goal. Ultimate goal is self-confidence, because self-confidence brings action, and action is what brings results. Okay, so how do we get to that self-confidence? How do we have that action over emotion? Now you have that problem that you want to overcome. You have that smoking, that drinking, whatever it is. Now you need follow-through to overcome that. How do you build follow-through? You need to have a daily process every single day that you fall back on, that's going to give you that confidence that you believe in yourself and you prove to yourself that you can do things. Wake up early, 5 a.m. wake up. This is what you need. I want you guys to have a pen and paper. You're not writing this down and have this on your notes somewhere. I don't know what you're doing. Because unless you start taking action, you will be living the same day every single day, and you'll be complaining about the same things every single day. So number one, wake up at 5 a.m. Why 5 a.m? It makes no point. There's no reason. I don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. I can wake up at any time that I want. But the reason I wake up at 5 a.m. is because it's at an uncomfortable time that no one wants to wake up. But you've just proven to yourself you can do something uncomfortable when you want to. Number one, if you work nights, then wake up 2 hours earlier than you're meant to. As soon as you wake up, what you need to do is a high intensity exercise. Because what happens is we are negative beings, like I mentioned before. So as soon as you wake up, you start having these negative thoughts like, what's the point? And you go back to sleep, all those insecurities come back. The you that you are now starts to come in. You try to negotiate with your conscience. So what do? You elevate your frequency, because when you start thinking negative, it's because you're in a negative state of thinking. So elevate your frequency, 10 to 20 burpees, 30, 40 star jumps, brings your heart rate up. Then you start thinking positive, high frequency state. Then you get a self-development book. I don't care if you don't like reading. The thing is, I used to hate reading. I used to think, how do people read? You get a self-development book. I used to read the same page like 10 times because my mind could not process it. I had no attention span. My focus was just all over the place because you're so used to so many fast consumer content, TikTok, Instagram Reels, that what you want is just all the information quick. You are desperate. All you want is quick results. Quick results do not exist. You need something worthwhile. That's what they say, Rome was not built in a day, because the most important things have a strong foundation. And that's what you're doing. Even if it takes you 20, 30 minutes to read one page or one paragraph, I want you to understand what that one paragraph is saying and start to apply it. Once you read that page, then I want you to focus on building that physique that you want. When you were a kid and you saw yourself and acknowledge yourself, how did I want to be like? How did I want to look? That person you can create, but that's faith. Why? Because at that point right now where you are, you might not believe it. How can I get it? I don't see it. But you need to focus on developing the habits that's going to give you that result, that's going to give you that image that you see in your head. It's faith. Because you put the actions, you put the work, but you don't see the results yet. If you don't see the results today, you don't see the results tomorrow, you don't see the results in a month. But after 100 days, after 6 months, then you start seeing results. What did you just do? You create faith, non-negotiables. So focus on your macros and your workout routine. Once you do that every single day, now that's a belief system, because you've put in the work, and whenever you doubt that you can't do anything, you fall back and say to yourself, actually, I've done all of this. Let me do the next thing. Because remember, you want to overcome smoking, but you don't overcome smoking just by the idea of it. You need to take an action which gives you that result. So what is your action? What causes the smoking? What causes the drinking? It can be a stress, it can be whatever, but when that triggers you, then you take action, you do the negative habit, because you don't have that follow through. So once you've done that follow through throughout the day, you're like, actually, I've done all of this. Whenever you get that trigger response of, I want to smoke, I want to drink, I want to do that thing I'm not meant to do, actually, I've done all of this. I'm not going to do this. Day one. The next day, day one. Don't count the days, just focus on the 24 hours. And before you even know it, you've done 30 days. And what was once a problem, now you've overcome the boss. Now you can focus on the other area. What is the next thing? And that's how you progressively start doing actions over emotion. Why? Because you did not act upon your emotion from when you're stressed, you want to go to smoking, drinking. Now you get rid of the what I don't need to do. Now you focus on what I do need to do. Now what is my next goal? Then that's how you start putting all these goals. What is your goal? Only you know what you want to do. But first focus on the things that you don't, and then you start focusing on things that you don't want to do. So with that being said, that's your boy Suno. If you're not following me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram at Suno_. Please let me know your thoughts, drop a comment below, give this video a like if you made it this far, and drop me the message, drop me the word 100 if you want me to help you on your journey on Instagram, and I'll see if I can help you out with that. With that being said, that is Suno.